I invite District Governor nominee of Rotary Club, Thiru.P.T.Prabhakar, for a special address.
Most Honorable Chief Guest, former Governor of Maharashtra, Mr. C. Subramaniam, the Vice Chancellor of Anna University, Dr. Ananda Krishnan, who gave us a very informative talk on the UN, my good friend Ramu, President of the Rotary Club of Mylapore, my other young friends seated over here, ladies and gentlemen. I think at the outset I would like to congratulate the Institute of International Educational Service and the Madras Educational Trust for organizing this excellent seminar, what is to my mind the most useful and the best way to celebrate the completion of 50 years of United Nations. I want to tell you, I believe in those days, a few years back, somebody asked Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, somebody asked him, I said, please tell me, if there's going to be a third world war, what kind of weapons are they going to use? For which Einstein said, well, I'm a scientist. I certainly don't know what they're going to do in the third world war, but I'll tell you what they will use in the fourth world war. They're going to use rocks. Which simply meant that he said, if there is going to be a third world war, it will simply annihilate the human race. There will be nothing of the world left, and the man will go back to the Stone Age and start all over. So this is what Albert Einstein said, and if after the Second World War, in the last 50 years, no such major calamity has taken place, all the credit must go to this great organization called United Nations. I remember what the great Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, former president of our country, said about our generation. Talking about our present generation, he said, our generation should not go down in the history of mankind as the one which split the atom or a generation which invented the nuclear bomb. We should rather go down in the history of mankind as a generation which brought peace to this world, which brought the countries of the world together. And that is precisely what United Nations has done in the last 50 years. Perhaps there could be doubts as to whether it has achieved all its objectives, but no doubt at all that it has achieved the major objective, that it has prevented a major war in the last 50 years. Gentlemen, I must tell you very briefly here about the Rotary movement. I belong to the Rotary movement. Rotary is nothing but a social service organization spread over 185 countries and geographical regions, and we have service above self as our motto. And in fact, the object of Rotary is somewhat similar to the United Nations. Our fourth object of Rotary says the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world of fellowship of business and professional men united in the ideal of service. So as a NGO, non-governmental organization, and a service organization, in a very, very small way, Rotary all around the world is doing maybe 1/1000th of what UN is doing as a professional organization. In fact, in Rotary we have this so-called youth exchange programs where youths of different countries exchange their place of residence for 1 year to understand, to learn the other cultures. And there was this young student from America. This boy had grown up, he went to Germany as an exchange student. Until he went to Germany, he had a picture of Germans as the most cruel people in the whole world. He had only read about the accounts of World War II. He was born after the Second World War. The moment somebody said Germans, he only picturized a set of cruel human beings, just out to kill anybody or whatever. Now this guy went to Germany, stayed there for 1 year with a German family, and very soon he found out they are the most wonderful human beings. They are as kind or as good or as bad as any other human race. And he came back, and for many years, till today, on his birthday or any momentous occasion in his life, the first call he gets is from the host family he had in Germany. From this small experience, he found out that all people are good. It's only the international understanding that is required to keep them together. It's really creditable that the United Nations has kept this whole world like a joint family. You know, the United Nations is like, I would say, like arithmetic, where friends are added, enemies are subtracted, joys are multiplied, sorrows are divided. And sometimes the United Nations, to my mind, looks like chemistry also, where it evaporates the sorrows, filters the troubles, and we finally end up getting crystals of happiness. That's what UN is all about. But like our professor was saying, some people call the UN a toothless organization. I really don't know how far it is true. In fact, one of the former Secretary Generals of United Nations, in his address, he said, the UN seems to be the world's first Teflon-coated organization because nothing that it does there seems to stick to it. So he said it is the world's first Teflon-coated organization. Probably how we can make it a more powerful organization, how we can put some teeth into it, I'm sure our most respected former Governor of Maharashtra will be able to tell us. I thank Ramu, the President of the Rotary Club of Mylapore, and my other friends for giving me this opportunity, and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.